Hi. How are you, cutie? I just pulled a card for myself since no one was just intently reading it. Would you? So I was going to talk about tricks and tools for manifesting today since it's the 8-8 portal. Do you know what the 8-8 portal is? Lionsgate? I'm great. I'm wonderful. Um, so the Lionsgate portal is every year on August 8th. It's an astrological event that has been celebrated in all of the ancient histories, or ancient civilizations, I should say. And basically, what happens during the Lionsgate portal is the sun is in Leo, and Leo is essentially like its primary. The sun feels most at home in Leo, so it's kind of more comfortable, more powerful, more stepping into its light as a sun. And the Earth is aligned with Orion's belt, and then the star Sirius is also lined up. And Sirius is a major power in the sky. Some people actually call it like the god power of the sun. And so when these three things happen, it is the Lionsgate portal. There's also solar flares happening right now. So there's essentially a lot more energy up for grabs than there normally is. Hey Wayne, what's up, buddy? I am so glad you joined. There are so many people streaming tonight. I chose to do this last minute. Little Man is going to come. He'll probably do a song or two. But I should have just done it tomorrow night or something. But today is such a special day for me. I really just kind of wanted to jump on. And also, anyone I can reach today to say, it's not too late. Write your wishes down. Do some manifesting. This is a very, very extremely powerful portal. The biggest event of the year. Ancients actually treated it as their most precious holiday of the whole year. So anyway, there's a lot of energy available to us, and a lot of I like to call them activations. So we are all built in sacred geometry. So our cells, our bodies, basically respond to light just like plants. It's like photosynthesis. And right now, the sun is providing much stronger power than normal. And with that comes additional downloads and activations to your cells, basically to your memory bank, to your pineal gland, which is kind of where faith and spirituality and in your intuition come from. It's in your head, right in the center of your head, your pineal gland. So hopefully that is a good enough description of what the Lionsgate is and why it's so important. And you've heard the term manifesting. So manifesting is essentially making requests of the universe or of the powers that be. You don't have to believe in God. It can be just believing in the pluses and the minuses, the neutrinos. It can be believing in yourself. It can be believing in humanity. But, whatever, some sort of higher power that can help usher in. There's also a belief that what you manifest during this portal determines what your year ahead is going to actually look like. So again, a lot of people put a lot of weight on this day, myself included. Last year I did a really special retreat on this day, and I had a freaking amazing year. So, all right. So I wanted to then just talk tonight. Some of you, like Bexy B, I'm not sure, Chica, if I know you've been here once, I think, but maybe not a ton. So I usually will start with a meditation, and then I will offer oracle card readings or pendulum questions, and pull down some psychic information. But sometimes we do some other fun stuff based on like holidays and special events. So tonight I thought it'd be fun to talk about the portal, and then really just talk about give some tips for how to actually manifest, because a lot of people, they've heard the word, but they don't necessarily know, and there are ways that you can make it more powerful. So yeah, that was my hope, is to impart some information about that. So the first thing I want to talk about, so manifesting, again, it's, basically making a request of the universe, writing down your wishes or your goals, or things you'd like to shed. It can also be stuff like that where, let's say you worry too much and you want to stop that. Great. Add it to the list. Or, maybe you're seeking abundance. I would say to be very specific if you're asking for abundance. So abundance can be a well-growing garden. It can be love from someone else. So if it's financial, then I would specifically say I'm seeking financial abundance. I also like to add, I'd like to receive financial abundance in a way that will be easy for me to enjoy. Because you could receive an opportunity, maybe it's a new job where you have to work really, really hard for it. So, I try and be super clear when I manifest, so that's kind of my first tip. My one friend's like, I'm going to ask for sex. And I'm like, okay, but that can come from anywhere. And I know that you're kind of picky, so I would be pretty specific. So, so just a goofy example. So, the first thing, again, I like to write it down. I feel like the act of writing it down, having a tangible list, is not only good for the Lionsgate portal, but it's good for having that list, just so you have, it's like having a bucket list, or having a list of things you'd like to do around your city or region. That way you can actively pursue them and cross them off. And the kinesthetic action of actually writing them out, I think, is also quite beautiful. Another little trick you can do is, if you have a crystal and you're a nerd like me, you can actually write, your wishes in the air, kinesthetically. So you're not actually doing it on paper, but there's still the kinesthetic experience. So, Wayne, you'll like this. Look who walked in.
You got two guitars over. Where
it's
those
my
guitars come from?
It's my buddy Chris.
Yes.
Some may know him as the
what are we looking at here?
famous musician Little Man, and he played on my last party, and he's also an astrologer. So I'm gonna go through this little quick list, but we're talking about manifesting and manifesting tips.
Okay.
And
how do you manifest tips?
Well, you can write it down. That's as far as we've gotten. So I was just talking about just the tip. We've really, really just gone over the tip of the iceberg.
All right.
Here.
I'm late on that joke.
Wayne says, "Hey, bro, awesome, good to see you." You do look great, by the way.
No, I don't.
I'm
like off of work.
No,
and
you
a
look
guitar
very
lesson.
vibrant. You look very vibrant, and the whites of your eyes are super white.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yep. Took myself out. Special day for myself. Got to do that.
Self-care. Okay. You can start a manifestation journal. So, a similar concept. It just keeps everything all in the same place. Then you can always amend it or add to it. Those are pretty basic and obvious.
Yeah.
There are some other things where you can kind of turn manifesting into a game. So there's this one that I kind of came across when I was doing my research, and I wasn't previously privy to it, but it's called the Game of Effortless Creation. And oh God, I can't remember. I don't sleep much, as many of you know. Sometimes I'm reading these at 4 a.m. when I'm half asleep and very stoned. All right. So to do this exercise, it really just takes a few seconds. You do kind of want to, kind of get zen first, 3 to 5 seconds. Just kind of have a few breaths, tune in, and find your center place. And then you think of 3 things that you'd like to experience in the next few days or the next week. And this is kind of fun. I actually did this yesterday, and I thought of 3 things, and already, it's only been 24 hours, 2 of the things have happened. So that really makes me stoked. you don't want them to be things that would normally cross your path. So if your husband always kisses you on the mouth when you get home, it's not like, oh, I want my husband to kiss me on the mouth. Even though you may want that, you would want to choose something a little more obscure. Like, I'd like to see 2 hummingbirds, or I'd like to see a cloud in the sky that looks like a dragon. Like, I don't know, something a little more obscure.
Right.
And that's like a fun way to learn how to trust and have faith in your manifesting. It's kind of like the walk before you run. So that's kind of fun. I mean, you can ask for really big things, but if you're just starting out on this journey, hey Trixie, welcome to the channel. We are talking about, so today is the beautiful Lionsgate portal. It is a portal of manifestation and lions. And it is basically, there's an alignment of Sirius, the sun, and we are in Leo, which is a place where the sun feels most at home and is very, very powerful. And
super bright.
Like
the most bright.
The most bright, and like plants, we respond to the sun, and we respond to, how do I want to say this? Movements of the planets and the stars. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, welcome, Lionsgate. Happy Lionsgate. And so, because there's all this extra energy and beautiful downloads and activations do come from the sun around the clock, any given day. But as this day, there is more energy available. It is a very good day to manifest, to start to make plans, or start to actually even take actions on stuff that you've been dreaming about. And this isn't just today. It actually started a couple days ago, and it will extend.
With the new moon especially.
And how long does it go till?
To the full moon. It's coming up. Coming
12th?
up. I think that's on the.
It's 12th, I think.
Couple days.
Yeah, the full moon.
I think it's on the 10th, maybe.
I know that. I think that the portal goes a little longer, but in concept, but it's good to start now. Honestly, I would start today. Starting on the Lionsgate portal is the most magical, I think.
It's always good to just have those sorts of things anyway, as far as intentions go.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I started out with.
I like to do them in the very first moments of my waking in the morning.
Do you do them for your day or for like your whole week?
I do like gratitude stuff first thing when I wake up, when I'm conscious and kind of in that little spot,
Yeah.
Do gratitude stuff, but that also is a good time to do some manifestation, like intentions, put out the intentions.
Perfect. So let's actually quick talk about this. What Chris just mentioned, 2 really beautiful things. A lot of your manifestation, like I said earlier, you want to be specific. You want to think about your intentions. And the other thing about manifestations, like, it's very unlikely that if you wish someone ill will or something like that, it's very unlikely that that type of thing will come true. It's not generally the type of energy that gets rewarded. So I wouldn't recommend that. Gratitude, on the other hand, is a beautiful way to manifest. Hey Matt, what's up, buddy? I'm so glad you're here. We still need to talk. So we're talking about ways to manifest your wishes and your dreams and to make them come true. But these are also great just general practices that you can do year round to increase your gratitude, to know what you truly want in life, like, and to write from the heart.
Yeah, that's important. It's just like, what do you truly feel like you want in your life?
And nothing's too big of an ask, really. I mean, there's this exercise I'm mentioning, the game of effortless creation, where I wouldn't start with something major. But if you are on this manifestation journey and you start to trust it, you can manifest some major things. I mean, I've manifested trips, jobs, raises, partners, really the health, mega health transformations, like miracles, borderline miracles. All right, so I want you guys all actually to do this with me. Think of something that you're grateful for and just say it out loud right now. I'm grateful for Chris. Actually, I'd rather have you type it in the chat because then I get to know what it is. So type something in the chat, please, 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 please. Come on, come on. Don't make me track you down. And I know there's a 15-second delay, so you're just hearing me now. But gratitude is, you guys know, I always say gratitude equals glow, and it's one of my emotes. Feel free to drop them in there. Grateful for life. Oh, that's beautiful. Matt, I don't know what that is. Is that a musician? You have to elaborate. Blink twice if you're okay, little man. Same joke as last time, Wayne. Can't you come up with some new materials?
I am okay, yes. This is my natural way of being.
To have a roof over your head, that's an amazing gift. Especially if you live in Minnesota like I do. All right, so Wayno and I are in Discord together. Aw, that's something to be grateful for. All right, so the next one, he's drunk. What's new there? That's not a news flash. How many beers in are you, Wayne? Am I a 5-beer program or a 10-beer program? That's how we used to rate movies. Tried to touch me on camera. Perv. All right, so leveraging the power of revision. So just know that if you need to course correct any of your manifestations, here's another thing I want to just talk about quickly. Your subconscious already has some pretty good ideas about this. It's just that a lot of us are so in the practice of the rush, hustle and bustle of this society that we're not really in very good touch with our subconscious. We're more run by our ego.
Right.
And so your subconscious probably already knows if you make a course correction.
It's already got it going on, really.
But if you feel you need to write it on paper so that you have it for reference, it can't hurt.
It brings it into consciousness.
Yeah, and it can help to anchor it in your reality, in the reality you're living in. I live in all sorts of realities. I'm always trying to anchor stuff. Consent, please, thanks. Yeah, Wayne, no manifesting evil things or against people's will. Strengthen your faith in a positive outcome. So this is what I started to allude to earlier. And that exercise of the effortless creation, so the thinking of 3 small things you'd like to manifest this week and testing it out, that's a good practice because a lot of times when people are first starting out on their manifesting journey, there's not a lot of trust there. They don't yet have the faith in the power of not only us, but the power of the universe. And so a good thing to do is to practice living in the moment. Like the best way to have faith is to live in the moment.
Right there. Exactly what that is.
Yeah. You want to tell us more about, so I gave the very high level, but is there anything you'd like to add about the Lion's Gate or that in specific?
Well, very much so. The Lion's Gate has to do with, being present in the present moment. Also is a beginning of the Mayan calendar, which is in sync with the moon's natural cycles. So it's kind of a natural calendar of the natural movements of the planets and the Earth and everything that evolves and revolves. Having to do with the moon cycles and stuff like that. So it starts with that. This is kind of the gate that is the beginning of the start of the year, kind of, like astrologically in a way. And then it's being a very being in the present moment is kind of symbolic of that. Can you imagine being in between 2 lions? It's like you would be very much in the present moment at that point. You'd be scared, but you'd be very present with what's happening. It talks about these are kind of like 2 pillars. It's a gateway. It's an evolutionary gate that we can pass through and never be the same again. It's like, it's a great time to change, if you have like some sort of like habits that you want to drop, or, it's a matter of letting go of things that don't support you.
Yeah.
And,
So let me give an
you know,
example of that, because that's a confusing thing to hear when you don't understand it. So letting go of things, like, I always say like mindsets, because there's a lot of mindsets that the society builds. So for women, for example, I always feel like I need to be an expert on something to speak up in meetings, or I have in the past. I'm kind of over that now. You can go on the internet and find out everything you need to know in 5 minutes, and or just say, hey, I'm not an expert on this, but this is my opinion. And that is totally acceptable and valid.
Yeah.
But that was a mindset that I wanted to change. Another mindset I had was about this kind of stuff. I didn't believe in any of this 2 years ago. here I am.
Yeah.
Now I'm psychic and I do this for a living. So, there's a lot of limiting mindsets. The other thing that we set is, like, one of my major ones for last year was to choose love over fear. And what I mean by that is I was restricting my love. I'm in a dedicated marriage, and I thought that meant I couldn't go deeper with other relationships. And this isn't about physical or anything, but there was this like silent kind of withdrawal from society and like certain situations of fun. And now I brought it up to the husband, and now we're having so much fun. We're going out dancing like we were in our 20s, and we've just changed this mindset that wasn't serving us. Like, this is what you do in your 40s. You come home, you make dinner, you watch Netflix, you go to bed. What if I want to go dancing on a Tuesday night? I do it. Now I just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
I definitely admire you, Liz, and your relationship that you have, with your husband. I'm not the husband. If you're one,
he's over here. Rennie, say hi.
Hi, Ron. Right.
Floating head.
So yeah, we've had a lot of conversations and stuff, Liz. So it's great, and it also depends on I definitely believe that it's very important for two people to have their own unique relationship that combines for one unique thing. No one else is in that relationship, but unless there's more people involved, which can be. But I'm saying, like, people can make what I'm trying to say is people can make their relationship into anything that they want.
Anything. Yeah. And well, this world tries to put a lot of parameters on things that are really unnecessary.
Saturn.
Yeah. So, the astrologer here. So, just to say again, this is Chris Pericelli. He is an astrologer and an amazing musician. Check him out. You can go to his multiple Facebook and Instagrams. He's Pericelli Pics on Instagram, or Little Man.
Little Man
right?
Music.
Little Man Music. And he actually has a song called In Between the Lions.
Yep.
What?
Right.
He writes a lot of songs about astrology, and before he was even an astrologer. Anyway.
Yeah, a lot has come to be to make it to be, interested in this sort of stuff and the people in my life, and just things that have happened and stuff like that. But a lot of interest in that sort of vibe and lion energy and stuff like that. So grateful for all of it.
So so gratitude is huge. Writing down, getting rid of even limiting beliefs. And another thing you can do during this Lionsgate portal, but really anytime, new moons are great, full moons are great. You can actually write down those things that you want to part with. And I like to write them down physically, and then I like to actually take it one step further and burn them outside, like physically burn for the papers. And visually, it's a really good. But if you believe in like kinesthetic energy and the energy of the universe, then there's also connotations that go along with that too.
Prayer too. like if you're someone that prays,
Hey, DJ Flower Angel, welcome.
then that can be something used kind of as a manifestation kind of tool or whatever. I mean, because if you pray, then you're talking about kind of things that you are aligning with or want to have, or your hopes and stuff, or you're praying for people and all that. But I mean, there's can be a good aspect of prayer that starts to focus your consciousness on certain things, and so then yes, that can be used as a stepping point for like a manifestation.
Well,
type
and the
deal.
more clear and focused you can get, and strip away external, again, anything external, you can figure out what you truly want and what your true like desires are. This is where we talk about connecting with your subconscious. And obviously meditation is great. Another thing that I want to talk about for manifestation, which is a little obscure and not many people think about this as a way to manifest, it's cleaning up your act. So it can be being devoted to your rituals like meditation, but really being devoted to a healthy diet, to eating healthy food with nutrients that's going to nourish your cells and keep your body clean, raises your actual vibrational frequency. So you can, by raising your vibrational frequency, it puts you in the same frequency of things that are good. So everything has energy, and negative things have a certain energy and positive things have a certain energy. And let's just say on the spectrum, the positive things are usually more up here, whereas the negative things are more down here. And you might see someone like Pigpen and Charlie Brown, right? He's always getting rained on. He's got bugs flying around him. He is in a negative energy, and he's attracting other negative energy. Man. And so when some people, when they get really in this bad place, what they don't realize is by staying in that bad place, they're actually attracting other bad things, bad things, because negative energy attracts negative energy, and positive energy attracts positive energy. So the purer your temple, the more beautiful your temple. And this doesn't have to do with looks. This is more of an inner journey. It raises your vibration, and I can honestly say I got my psychic powers after I went gluten-free and vegan, and I'm not saying everyone has to do that, but it was almost immediate. And also my health got a ton better. My skin got a lot better. So there's other benefits too. But that's just, I like to mention that because it's not something that most people think of.
That's true.
Drinking lots of water, keeping your organs cleansed, that sort of stuff.
Plus you want to be healthy enough to experience the things that you want to manifest. So you want to be in a healthy body, being able to experience life in the way that you want it to or are hoping to.
Yeah, you don't want to manifest a beautiful trip to Egypt, and then you're so sick that because you're having heart failure or something that you can't go. So anyway, we won't dote on that too much, but that's something that's really close to my heart, and it's really changed the trajectory of my life. So I always like to mention that. I also do want to just jump back briefly to when we were talking about, trusting the universe, trusting your ability to manifest, trusting in your powers, trusting in your truth, what your heart really says without worrying about the consequences. And that is an action that can really only be attained when you are living in the present and not worrying about outcomes.
Right.
And not planning outcomes. That's good for me to hear. I love the Pigpen reference. I don't know. I just pulled it out of my head, but sometimes I do feel like Pigpen when I'm like having a bad day. I'm like, meh. And it just gets worse if I like stay in that place, A really good way to get yourself out of that place, gratitude.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
If you just stop for 1 second and think about 5 things that you're grateful for, or even look around. Stop being inward. It's tricky, right? Because usually this is an inward journey, and we're trying to elevate ourselves from inward. But sometimes you have to have your eyes open to the universe and what they're presenting you with. a lot of times when I'm super down, maybe because I'm kind of aware, I will look up and I'll run into a friend who is also a light worker, and I'll see that she's in flow. And everything that was going wrong for me, I will see her walk in, get a table before me, get food before me, like I can see her being in flow, and it's a wonderful reminder to stop moping and get out of it.
Yeah.
Like get back to my center.
Right. There's a lot in our at those points of time in our it's more
Ego.
up in here. So it's a matter of kind of getting into your body and feeling, that Taurus energy, just like the centering and feeling your body, and dropping more down into the heart space and being present, that we were just talking about. All of that stuff. And also another aspect of this, what Liz is talking about, is, feeling. Take moments in your day, in the morning or at night or whatever, to actually like feel how it feels to, if you're wanting to be specific about manifesting something, have a moment for yourself to feel what it feels like to have that already.
Yeah, so
match that feeling.
That brings up two great things, Chris. That's perfect. It's like perfect. Sometimes, like, let's say there's that interview question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I hate that question.
One.
I'm like, this.
What am I looking at, a crystal ball?
Yeah.
I see myself in the mirror shaving my face.
I like to win the lottery.
I don't know.
No, I wish I could like really answer that question the way I want. Well, not working for you, a-holes.
Right.
No. But here's what you can do. Like maybe you don't, if you're living in the present too, I try not to plan that far in ahead, because if I'm cramming this idea, this is why I'm actually quite careful with manifesting, because I prefer to just trust the universe, and so I try and just live in the present, but keep my eyes open to what opportunities are becoming available to me. That said, what you can do is imagine how you'd like to feel. So even if you don't know how you get there, you can imagine how you want to feel in your life, and the universe will find things that match that vibration for you, and present you with them. So, working on those feelings is a really, really great idea. The other thing is, I actually want to teach you guys the heart breath, where you actually try and breathe from your heart. And we've done this a few times on the channel. I personally like to find my pulse with both hands. I like to find it up here, and then also find it down here. And I like to close my eyes. We're going to do some very deep breaths, and I want you to pull these up from your root chakra, which is just kind of below your private parts, between your two legs. You can picture it in your tail, in front of your tailbone if you want. But pull that breath up into your heart. And you can actually do your heart, or if you want to go in the center of your chest where your chakra is, that's fine too. Okay, so let's do this about 4 times. And try and bring your chest forward as much as you can. Literally try and bring your heart outside to meet the external air when you do this, okay? And you're connecting your root chakra with your heart. And if you feel like it's not open enough, get your chest out as far as you can. Think of it as like you're a mating bird or something. I also will picture these little gates actually physically in my heart, and I will picture myself just opening these little gates and like lights coming out. So that just gives me, if you're
That's
a
nice.
really visual person, you can do it that way too. So let's do 2 more. But you should start to actually feel like the breath is actually coming through your heart instead of, your other parts. And now I'm going to add a piece. So since it's the lion's gate, on your out breath, I want you to do the lion's breath. And that is this. If you want to growl, that's okay too.
Sounded more like a snake to me.
It's kind of hard to growl, but
Sounds like we're dying.
it's not about being pretty always. Hey, it's Eric. How you doing? What's up, my buddy? My movement friend. It's good to see you. You've missed some stuff. Let me try and recap it. It's the 8/8 portal. Mega magical day for manifesting because there's 3 massive giants going on in astrology. So some good things to do. Gratitude. Write a manifestation list or journal. Play a game of effortless creation. So try and think of 3 small things you can manifest over the next 24 to 72 hours and do that as like a trust test of your abilities. Be positive. Be in the feels. Check in with your heart.
Feel what it's like to have it already.
Yep. Daydream. Daydreaming is something we used to get in trouble for. I remember in all my report cards before 6th grade said, daydream's too much. And again, I say, because I think daydreaming is beautiful and amazing. And one of the biggest mistakes I made in my whole life is I never dreamt past college. I grew up in a really small town, really poor. And I never, even going to college somewhere was like a big thing. And nowadays, I would actually say you don't want to plan too far because you want the universe to help you. But to know what you want, know what you truly want in your heart space is beautiful. So if you do that heart breathing, and you can do that long enough, I would say, do that for 15 minutes and then do a manifesting exercise. And I bet that you will be in better touch with your heart space and your real truth. Because sometimes we are so skewed by society or the people around us or comparing ourselves to others that if we really ask ourselves what we want, sometimes it's not what we think we want.
There's an ego. Gotta understand there is a little bit of an ego play that comes in with if we're talking about the things that we want. I mean, we do have desires. Desires are natural and stuff like that.
It's not wrong to want things.
Also, your inner talk and your mind has to be more positive in like change it into a communication in your mind that is talking about that in a tense that you already have this thing, Don't have that separation. The communication in your mind that's has some sort of separation between the things that you want. Because if you're in the wanting zone, then you don't have it.
Yeah, that's a really good. That's actually something I should talk a little more about because here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna recommend Abraham Hicks.
That's good stuff.
Abraham Hicks.
I find it kind of hard to listen to sometimes.
She's abrasive.
Really good points about.
She's a little abrasive, but she tells people what they need to hear. So it's kind of like a spiritual slap in the face a little bit.
No, that's good.
So Abraham Hicks channel. Well, she's a different woman with a different name, which I can't think of right now. But she channels Abraham Hicks, and but it's really simple to learn stuff about how to increase your vibration and how to get more out of your human experience.
The vortex is what she talks about.
And there's one really great video I'll refer you to on YouTube, and it's all about the whole video. All she does is says different iterations of I am used to everything working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. I'm happy because things in my life always turn out the way that works for me.
Yeah.
It's literally that for like 30 minutes, but it really is a wonderful reminder, and the repetition is beautiful because you'll find yourself going about your day and being like, everything works out for me. Everything is always working out for me.
And it's present
Tense. Again,
you know?
present tense. And words matter. Like, words are really important. So
the words that we say to ourselves, the inner talk that we have, for a lot of us, it just needs to change. And when you start changing that, you know, or there may be a certain time in your life that this starts to come into, that you need to change your inner talk. Once you start changing your inner talk to a more positive way of talking to yourself, then things on that, when you do that on the inside, things start changing on the outside.
Yeah. We also, what was that Abraham Hicks one about that we watched last night, Ren? There was like a main point to it, but
it was all about the crossroads.
Yeah. So this woman comes up on stage and she says she's in a crossroads, but she's predetermined that she's in a crossroads.
This is the blues story about the devil and the guitar player, right?
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Crossroads?
Yeah. But are you going to do a song now? Because this would be
this
perfect.
This is where the
perfect leeway.
Segue.
So, yeah, she was basically like, this woman was making all these problems for herself by self-proclaiming a crossroads when she really knew what she wanted. She even said it in her question. She said exactly what she wanted. The problem was fear. She was already analyzing what could go wrong instead of considering what could go right. So this is a thing we do in our society, and we're taught to weigh out every efficiency and have a plan, but honestly we don't need a plan because the universe has a plan for us.
Yeah.
And if we can just focus on having a high vibration and being in love and gratitude, we will be provided for more than you can even imagine. So that's a really mega point. But also when Chris talks about, I want this, what is a better terminology I would recommend is I am this. I already am this. Because most of it, like I said earlier, your subconscious already knows, and a lot of times your subconscious has already made the decision. That is how pendulums work. So if you're not familiar with pendulums, so I'm going to show me my yes. You see it starts swinging left to right. Show me my yes. Switches up, going front and back. So that's all based on my subconscious energy. And the energy in my body. The one thing I will say about a pendulum is it is, in my opinion, sometimes in contrast to what the universe will want. So you have to, again, words equal worlds. Words are really important. So you want to be specific about the questions that you ask of your pendulum as well. You would say, how does the universe feel about this? Is this a yes? Instead of just asking the question, because it could be my subconscious answering, but it's not in the universal flow. So it's what I want versus what the universe wants. And personally, I say the universe always trumps me, even though we are all connected. There's a little less ego going on with the universal power. So less diversion there. Okay, let's see. There's another method that I really like that's pretty easy that I wanted to impart. Breathing technique where I say unconditional love and trust on the in and say fear and jealousy on the out. Yes, that's beautiful, Rennie. And that's my husband. That's my husband, everybody. Oh, there's the floating head. So it's the 3-6-9 method. And so you write down 3 affirmations. Let me give you an example of an affirmation. There's actually what Rennie just said could be an affirmation. I choose love over fear. Let me give you another little trick that you can do every day. Well, depending on how often you shower. Whenever you shower, and I actually don't shower every day. It's every other day with these locks. Just to be honest, I write daily mantras in the mirror or daily affirmations. And again, kinesthetically, it feels very good for me to write them out and to see them. And what's really fun is if you don't wipe them off, they just naturally go off. The next person that comes in there will get to read your affirmations. And maybe it'll be you and you get them a second time. Yeah. Those are some of the nerdy things I do. So anyway, this 3-6-9
it's good to write that stuff down.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just another level and another subconscious level. I mean, when you're writing things down, then you're they're getting a little bit deeper.
And another one, just to tell you just another example of a mantra that I've been working with for this specific Lionsgate portal. I actually put it in my Instagram story today, so you guys might have already seen it. But I affirm that I am now willing to open to the abundance and prosperity that are available everywhere. The other one is, hold on, wait for it. Wow. Every day my knowledge, awareness, and energy improves. Every day is better than the last. I mean, how beautiful is that? The idea that every day of your life could just get better and better. I mean, if you're going to wish for something, that's pretty good without being too specific. It's pretty good. So anyway, you write down 3 of those, 3 affirmations, and then you write those 3 major affirmations 6 times. You could also write down major changes you wish to bring into yourself or your life. Limiting yourself to 3 desires at a time, it really cancels the chances of confusion. So if you're asking for too much, sometimes it seems like greedy to the universal powers. I don't know how to explain that, but also I wouldn't ask for, like, in your everyday practice, I wouldn't ask for, if I do this, then I want this. Those kind of things are typically ego-based and just seen as a little lower vibe. So again, you just want to think about, like, what's the highest vibe. And a lot of times, as I mentioned earlier, if it does not serve you or the greater good of humanity, it might not be granted. So if you're asking for, like, your 3rd grade teacher to die a heinous death or something, probably not gonna work out. Okay. My 3rd grade teacher was lovely, by the way, Mrs. Maddish. Anyway,
I don't know how people remember that stuff.
So once you've written your affirmations down 6 times, you then visualize those affirmations for 9 seconds apiece. And 9 is the master number, the number of love, and essentially seen as, like, the master builder number, the number of God. You can look it up. There's this whole other thing which I talk about sometimes called numerology. And you can learn all about what all the numbers mean. And if you're seeing numbers on a clock, you can learn about what that means. And we won't go into angels tonight, but there's a whole other thing there.
It's also a number of endings.
Yes, 9 is a number of
know?
endings and new beginnings, typically. And that doesn't always have to be bad. It can be good. Sometimes even if it seems bad in the short term or really difficult, it's you're processing karma, or it's making room, clearing something out so you have room for something better. And let me tell you this about your manifestations. The way that the universe gets there might not always be super clear or linear. But it typically will get there in the end if you let it.
Yeah.
So
We can if I can interject about
yeah,
astrology
go for
real
it.
quick.
Yeah, please.
So, I mean, if we're in the time, right now we are in a time of Uranus with the North Node. So kind of
Oh, we gotta talk
this
about Uranus.
happens. Uranus wants the best for you ultimately, and so does the North Node. But Uranus can take things away, and Uranus can be a major shock. Could be a major aha moment
Yeah.
too. But big major shifts can happen in your life in regards to Uranus, depending on where it is in your chart. I mean, especially if you're the age of 42, you could be having some major shifts in your life right now. And so there's, like, because it's opposite, Uranus is opposite Uranus around that age of people's lives. So big change can happen, especially with the North Node conjunct where it's at right now. So what I'm saying is big, there could be sudden changes that can be happening in our lives that are for the best of our good. That we, but sometimes these things are really hard for us, but they're for the best of our good when it's Uranus. And especially with the North Node, it's kind of just like an upping things up for our
Yeah, and
for our
remind me,
best
how
in
long
the
are
future.
we facing Uranus?
Uranus.
Uranus.
How long are we facing Uranus? Hopefully a long
As
time.
I look right at you.
It's Uranus is like a 7-year transit through signs. I think we're in like 3 more years in Taurus or something like that.
Yeah.
Right now it's conjunct the North Node, and Mars is just moving, is crossing that point and moving on from there. So it's like, you have to use your own action, you use your own force in a way to make things happen, but also understanding that, or maybe there's a male that comes into your life, depending on how you are, whether you're, a female or male. Maybe there's someone that comes in your life that changes things